What is going on YouTube? Today we are back working again on the 2021 Ford Bronco, and today we are in the pursuit of more power. If you followed along, you know that I have the Roush intake. This consists of a different top cover and a larger filter, and that's it. That is the entire Roush intake kit. Same inlet tube, same tubing, all that. Nothing's changed there. Well, this just recently came out from K&N, and this is more of a true complete intake kit. So this actually replaces the whole airbox. It replaces the intake tubing all the way down to the turbos, and I think that we're gonna get a pretty big benefit out of this. So let's get it out of this box and see what all we've got. Okay, so new tubing, and that looks a fair amount bigger and more sturdy than factory. Oh yeah, that is a lot bigger than what this truck came with. Even this seems huge. So there is our airbox. Must be the filter adapter. And then in here, I bet, is the filter, our clamps, and the assembly instructions. Okay, let me get this stuff out and we'll start removing all that. All right, so first we're gonna take our trim tool, pop out this tab. There we go. Didn't beat it up too bad. And then we're gonna undo our airbox cover. This is T30, it's 4 of them. These screws don't need to come all the way out, but they will. So just be careful if you do take them all the way out, you don't drop them, because finding them is very difficult. There's lots of little nooks and crannies for these to get stuck in. And then this will just all lift off. Now I am slightly worried. This factory inlet actually has a passageway down here where water can escape, and the K&N does not have that, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. With that being said, I've gone through as deep of stuff as I want to go through. That doesn't mean I'll never accidentally encounter something else. And I've never, it's just dusty in there. There's mud on the back, but that's just from being thrown around. Overall, I don't feel like it does get incredibly dirty in here. Now, this is just pressure holding that in. So there we go. There's the Roush filter, and I do believe this is actually a K&N filter. It says Roush on it, but it came with a K&N dry filter. I think it's actually a K&N. We're gonna go ahead and twist out our map sensor. Hang that over there. Gonna go ahead and use our trim tool. Get this out. Pop this one. Okay. Got all those off. Now Looks like we got a 10mm bolt here. Nope, lied. It'd be an 8. And then I see hose clamps. The hose clamp down here as well. Now this Roush intake reuses the factory airbox, so this airbox is still the factory bottom. It's literally just a filter and a top cover. So, man, striking out here. This is 7. All right, this clamp is a 7. Now, if you notice, I have told people not to do this, but I did it anyway. This is the factory blow-off valve. I took and did, a lot of people call it vent to air mod, VTA mod. This is just I think it's a 1-inch PEX fitting. I undid this hose clamp, stuffed the PEX fitting in there, put it in there, and then you get the blow-off sound. So some people like it, some people don't. Sometimes I feel like I need to act like a 16-year-old kid. So I undid it, and yeah, even though I've said not to do it before, I don't listen to myself sometimes. So you do have a clamp here, and then you have a clamp down here. Sorry it's so dark in here. Get these off, and that should undo the intake tubes so that I can pull this air box out. Part of the reason I've said not to do this is because I think that it gives you a chance for dirt to enter. But after having it off, that doesn't seem like it has been much of a problem. I do need to unbolt this and get in there and check, but I haven't noticed anything. Alright, so this hose is undone. This hose is loose, maybe not quite enough. Oh, looks like the cable right here is attached with another clip. Try and get you situated there. Woo! Okay. I know I've said this 100 times, but if you guys don't have one of these trim tools and you are going to work on your own truck, you need to buy one. Even if it's 20 bucks. Everything on these cars is put together with these plastic push pins. There we go. Nope, still didn't get it. Well, that was the airbox breaking, so that's great. 4-cent clip lasts, the airbox cracks. Okay, so there we go. So here's where I believe we're gonna get the biggest gains from the K&N. That is a tiny tube. That is all that was. This one's bigger. So does it work? Yeah, obviously. But these are tiny airways. I know that turbos aren't huge. It looks like we're just over 2.5 on that side. And we're, I don't know, 2 1/8 on this side. I don't know if you guys could even see that. Yeah. So that's tiny. That's tiny little passageways. And again, that is not a big turbo down there, but more air for turbos means more power. Nothing's wrong with extra horsepower. So next, I believe we have to take this whole tube out, and then we're going to take this whole tube leading down there off as well. I have the instructions out. I'm not really reading them if you couldn't tell. This tube comes with a kit is for here. So this is where the vent to air will plug in. So gotta get myself some pliers. So these bolts here looks like we're back to 8mm. These are a lot tighter than I thought they would be, especially because maybe it's plastic. Maybe there's a metal fitting under that plastic. Okay, so it looks like we have a connection right here is a bolt, here's a bolt. 8mm once again. That's gonna be fun. Okay. Got those out. Now this tube connects right here. So I undid that bolt, but this top tube stays. Those are the tubes coming from the intercooler. This one and this one. The bottom tube is the air inlet for the turbo. So looks like we got another 7mm clamp down here. Get you positioned. See, if we're installing the Roush intake, we would have been obviously done twice. This is the whole reason why I decided to pull the trigger on the K&N though, because it had so many more parts. I feel like it was eliminating all that restriction that Ford had. And they even threw in a dyno sheet with this, where they're showing 16.93 horsepower at 3,600 RPMs and 26 foot-pounds of torque, and that's only at 2,300 RPMs. Well, that doesn't quite look like peak to me, but either way, that is a good amount of added power. Oh, it is peak. That's where the start of the stretch goes. So anyway, that's a lot for a few $100s of this. I believe these are about the same numbers that you get with Ford's Tune. And the biggest thing is, this is wheel horsepower. This is not crank horsepower, which I believe is what Ford's Tune is crank horsepower, they're saying, not wheel. So you can either spend $700-800 on that and drive it for a few months and be used to it, or you can spend $400 on a K&N intake and get bigger results, and you still didn't even have to tune anything. So okay, I gotta figure out, this has to be on little, there's got to be something under here holding this in. So I'm off of this. Here's my tape measure. Okay. Alright, I'm going to use both hands and figure out what's holding this in. Okay. I missed something. There's a bolt down here. Of course, we're going back to 8mm now. Constantly just bouncing. Where the heck did I put the 8mm? In my pocket. I was gonna say, it shouldn't be that hard. So far we've used T30, 7mm, and 8mm, and our little trim tool to pop loose all these plastic clips. So as far as tool wise, you don't need much. Got that bolt out. That should be immensely helpful. Hey, now it comes out. Well, it's coming. Okay. Between these fan relays, how the heck are you supposed to get this out? Now the instructions say literally pull just to remove the tube. That's all they say. Okay. Get this off of here. Attempt number 2. So this tab is getting caught on the fan, but it doesn't, I'm not really able to rotate anything either. This is a bitch. Okay. Shove that coolant line over. Now I'm just stuck. It's not moving at all. There we go. And I'm stuck here now. Let's see if we can tilt it up maybe. I feel like I'm gonna break something. So I'm rubbing against the tube here. Alright, I'm gonna undo these. Of course, not an 8, it's a 7. Holy crap. Nothing in this truck wants to come apart. Let's try both of them. Are you kidding me? These clamps are 2 different sizes. Shouldn't even be surprised anymore, should I? Holy crap. Nothing wants to come apart. Okay, so this is by far the biggest pain in the ass so far. Alright, where did my trim tool go? Okay, I said I didn't like to do this, and I don't, but I need this apart. And I'm not trying to really dig into the hose. I just need it to come off so I can get this tube. There we go. Okay, so pulled that apart, got myself a little bit more room. See if I can get this tube out now. And now I'm just stuck further down. Attempt number 2. See if we can pop these fan relays off without breaking this shroud. See, like, those are not good plastic sounds. Okay, that will hopefully do it. So, 2 of these, pried those off. Now I have a lot more clearance in here. And I still can't get this thing out of here. Sweet. Tons more room. How the hell am I going to shove a bigger tube in here? Okay. Undoing this. Hopefully that will work. Come on. Ugh. Holy shit. All right. Maybe now I don't even have enough room to do what I want to do. Alright. See, I can't even get these couplers out of here to make enough room. How the hell are you supposed to get this out? Alright, back to read. Okay. I undid the tube from the turbo down here. There's a bolt up here that I removed. So now this is out of the way. None of the instructions, you know you're not going to read that. They don't say anything. They literally say undo what I did and pull it out. Well, that didn't work. Okay, finally. Got that out. What a pain in the ass. Oh, this better be worth it. So, okay. I'm going to set that down. And I believe I want to... Okay, so now I got to find some couplers to go to the turbo. I'm not 100% sure what goes to the driver's side turbo. this is showing the passenger. I don't see. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So, okay, let me get the coupler that goes down there. Okay, so this is on here. Okay, now I have to get this big. Oh, so there is a bolt all the way under here. That's going to be super fun. I'm guessing it's an 8mm. Let's see if I can get that. So in other words, if you're thinking about installing this, you will not be reinstalling the factory intake very easily. Alright, go figure. With the 10mm. See if I can get to it. Okay, extension makes it too big. And I'm having to do this all by feel. Because I can't see this either. Maybe if I were underneath, but I would have to remove, looks like my front differential skid plate, which that's not very difficult, but if you don't have to, then why would you? Got it pretty loose. Maybe not loose enough. Nope, I'm getting it. Probably a ridiculously long screw. So the hardest part is the clamp holding this onto the turbo faces down. So I can't see that. I can see one side of it, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Man, this is... driver's side is going to be super fun, I have a feeling. From what I saw glancing at the instructions, it also said all these that you take out, you just put back in. So the Cannon tube, holy crap, that's a long bolt. So that's out of there. I gotta figure out how I can get down there. I need a different kind of pliers. Oh, there goes that bolt. So here, right there, it's kind of hard to see. This is the clamp, and this is the top, and the bottom is down here. So I have to figure out how the heck I can get around there to pop this off. Okay, gotta grab pliers. Okay, so I have these long 90-degree bend pliers. I think I can just barely get these down here. Oh, come on. Now my pliers are stuck. There's just no frickin' room down here. I started to get it though. Oh, come on. Whew. Okay. It's like I don't have anything. I need something to leverage against. Pull off. Come on. Oh, it's so close. Maybe have it a good ways off. Holy shit. Whew. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this was gonna be this much work. So, if you're not mechanical and you're not a do-it-yourself kind of person, maybe you do just want the Ford tune. I'm so close. I got it coming off. You see the shiny part of the turbo inlet. So these pliers are doing the trick. If I didn't have these, I have no idea how I would get to this. It is a little tricky getting them on. And the further the tube comes out, harder this is getting to get back in there. Yeah. Got it. Holy crap. Whew. So, look in there. It's all crumpled, and I'm assuming that's to kind of swirl the air. Look at how tiny. How tiny this passageway is. Okay. Well, Throw that in the parts pile. So there we are. Down to the turbo. Now, we gotta do this on the driver's side. Okay. So, this passenger side turbo, we're gonna go ahead and throw this on while we're here. So we can actually get something going back together instead of just coming apart. So, worm drive hose clamp. Make it easy on yourself. Install this facing upward. Don't be like Ford and make it impossible to work on your own vehicle. Obviously not impossible, but you get my point. Okay. It's an 8mm on the hose clamp. Now these you don't need to go super tight. Okay, now it is a turbo, it's building boost. You want to make sure it's not going to fall off, but the tighter you get with those, you do have a chance of cutting into that tube. So, hey, we got a piece on. That's forward progress. Let's go see about tearing apart the other side. Okay, so if I'm reading this right, we don't actually replace anything over here, which I'm assuming that's because you have these lines. I think they're vacuum lines going in there, so that makes things a lot more complicated. But this is all going down to the turbo down there. You can follow those two lines down. I know it's dark, but so that makes this a little bit easier. I was really beginning to think this is going to be a 3-hour project. So we have their tube. See how this is to fish it back in there. They actually in the instructions show putting stuff back together before we get to this step. But yeah, I don't know how that's possible. Okay, got that kind of in place. We're going to go ahead, if I can kind of get this to, we're actually just reusing the factory coupler. There we go. Get that in there. I'm not going to tighten this yet. I need to install everything over here before I tighten that, because I have a feeling there's going to be adjustments that need to be done. So next we're going to grab everything else. Okay, now I see why they want you to install things now. So this is going to go down there. Then we got another clamp. Again, think about how you're positioning these things. Try and get it in there. There we go. Okay. Now, your map sensor will go into this hole. Cannon threw in a rubber grommet. And again, I'm not reading the instructions. Looks like there's a little pigtail harness. I'm assuming it's for this, that you will have to extend it down. Of course, I don't actually see. I don't want to just sit here and complain, but man, these instructions suck. They're just very unclear. I don't even actually see this harness. It says install the blow-off valve fitting into the connection tube. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. So I'll probably do this before you connect it to the turbo, but whoops. Jam this guy in here. I never understand why they can't just do this part for you. I've had intakes from S&B, K&N, what was that? AFE, I think. I don't know. I've had tons of different intakes on different cars. They always just leave these grommets out. Just make us happy and put it in. Okay. So that doesn't want to go in there. I'm gonna get spray silicone. Get it all over. Now you don't want to get the actual sensor dirty. I mean the silicone on the sensor, but get it on there to help it so it can slip in. And so you can push the grommet out and watch it roll away. Alright, gotta go find that. Found the grommet. Oh my god. I think I'm doing this correctly. I mean, that's what this says to do. That thing does not want to go, though. I'm half afraid I got the sensor dirty. Clean that off. Yep. Grommet didn't pop out that time. So the grommet actually slides over the sensor super easily. So, don't want to lose the O-ring. Okay. So I must not have it fully seated in this hole. So, I mean, it is a tight fit. Okay. Where I can actually see it now. Just trying to get it seated in there. So you want to make sure the top is flush And then make sure the bottom is as well. Kind of doesn't feel great in the bottom. All right. So that looks pretty good. And obviously it just came off the turbo and it is just tight as shit. I actually don't know that I can have this O-ring on there. Doesn't say anything. Because there's so much resistance, it's not gonna stay. Nope, didn't get it. And the thing is, if I put it in here and then try it, there's no way you're gonna get that grommet in. Alright, so I'm gonna fight with this. Okay, I know you can't see, got it in there. I did have to take the little blue O-ring off of the sensor. Got it in there. It is not coming out. This pigtail that K&N sends you does clip in there. Connects back to the factory harness. So let's get this back on here. Okay, so that's in place. I did clean off that sensor again because I know I got it gross. So here's your massive air box. Let's go over here. In your air box, you have to install this filter adapter. Like this. Gotta find the bolts. So looks like we're using these hex. I can grab everything. Gotta find what size this is. Okay, so line this up. Need a regular flat washer. Alright, so line this up. Need a regular flat washer and a lock washer. And these are an Allen. I think it's a 4mm. I got silicone all over my hands, so now I can't pick up the washers. So line this up, tighten it up, and we will throw this into the truck. I'll actually go ahead and throw the filter on here quick as well. So the hose clamp for the filter was in with the filter. And it's apparently really, really loose. With these filters, because they're oily, all the rubber tends to be a little oily as well. So if you over tighten these clamps, it actually can make it just slip right off. So I have it tight and it's not going anywhere. But you really need to be careful not to over tighten those because it will just pop off. So yeah, keep that in mind. All right, by the time we get to this point, we should have 2 couplers and 4 clamps left. They're going to be pretty obvious where everything goes. And again, I have tightened up nothing. It's all just sitting in place. So, going to slide the coupler on. Don't forget your clamps. And again, when you're putting them on, think about the orientation. You want to be able to get to these easily. So we have that one on. Also just watch out for your wiring. Make sure you're not burying that and accidentally leave it hanging down low. Or it can rub on something hot. Okay, that is on. Install. Ooh, is this gonna fit? Barely. Get this coupler on. I have an intake on my F-150 and it is not this intricate. It's an S&B. It's a nice intake, but it did not take this much work. Okay, couplers on. These couplers are on. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these up a little bit so I can just help hold things into place. When you're doing this, especially when it's this in depth, and I've undone so many hoses, you're gonna wanna go back when you're done and just quadruple check everything. If any of these hoses pop off, you will just lose all power. It won't do anything detrimental, but it's probably not gonna happen at a super easy time when it's just easy for you to go back and fix it. So really think about what you're doing so you can go back and get it all put back together. All right, so it does look like these 2 pins go in those 2 grommets, but as you can see, I only have 1 grommet. Hopefully that's the top. There's the bottom. That's what we need. So make sure you have these. And just for comparison, this box is a lot bigger. That is a big filter. Really, the Roush, it's such a weird shape. They're pretty comparable in size. This does have element on the inside, although I don't know how much that really got used. It didn't have a ton of access to it, but big airbox. So stick this down there. Stick this in there. Now we're looking like we're getting somewhere finally. So the hardest part, and this isn't really connected to anything, so that's good. Yeah, this is gonna suck. Well, maybe it won't be too bad. Gotta get the airbox into place. And then this coupler sealed up. Okay, so we gotta get this box down where it needs to go. I'm not overly worried about getting the coupler on quite yet. there? Not there. It doesn't want to pop into place. Of course you don't really. Oh, nope, there it is. Okay, so that's sitting in place. We're gonna go ahead and try and find that bolt. Put that up in there. I just have no idea which one it is at this point. I think it's this one. That one's too short now. Did K&N send a bolt? Does K&N's instructions talk about a bolt? Yes. So, going to use what is now, I believe, a 10 millimeter. Throw that in place. So now what do I have? 10s and 7s and 8s. Okay. I really need. Everything's taking too long. Nope, that doesn't feel right. Well, glad I stopped. This bolt's going on crooked. This is just the worst position. Okay, box is in. I wish it came with a new little push pin for there, but it looks like they're telling me to reuse what I had, which of course I lost that. Cool. Alright, well, I'll have to find something to go in there. I couldn't have included that. Okay, so I tightened this clamp back up. Sorry. Tighten that clamp back up going right here. I clamped those two down on the turbo. I got these done. I got these done, except I actually loosened this one because these bolt holes aren't lining up, so I'm gonna have to move that tube. You can see this distance is a lot shorter. Gonna have to mess with that. Now let's go over here and get this tube inside there. And then we've got some brackets to install, but we're basically about finished. Okay, this is gonna bug me. I think this wiring all needs to go under the tube, and of course it is attached here. So, gotta try, and these should just pop off. There we go. Now, of course, you don't have to pop these off. If you watch my video before you do this, then you can just run the wire underneath the intake tube. But I don't want to have to undo everything. So, okay, so there we go. Bringing those under, sliding back on, plugging power in. Now, this is the little pigtail K&N gave us. We're going to loop this under actually probably go under the big side, so I have a hold of it down below, and then I'll plug it into the Ford harness. No, try and get it so you guys can see. Alright, pigtail on the inside. Don't wrap it all the way around. Okay, plugged in. So, my hope is there's a hole down there for a little push pin so you can zip tie into it. A lot of these factory little wire management clips, we're just going to cut those off because they now have nowhere to go. So K&N sent some of these a little push pin. So we're going to go down here, plug that into the side of the airbox, and now we have a zip tie attached to it so we can manage our cables. Okay, we got everything bolted up. Now let's put on the airbox lid. So you have a mesh piece of foam, and then another mesh piece on top of that. This will still allow airflow through it. I saw a video where somebody put this kit on their 2.3 and they either didn't get the foam or they chose not to install it. I'm going to install it. I drive down gravel and I'm in construction areas enough that I think having that extra protection is a good idea. Let's see here. So it looks like these are going to be the 4mm Allens, and then just a flat washer. And you have 4 of those. Now I am going to be curious, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, this doesn't have, this does not have the inlet like factory where it allows water to escape. So having a top that's like this maybe makes me a little nervous. Obviously that is where power is coming from though, because, how are you supposed to get to this? Because you're getting air through the top now instead of just on the side, or in the front, I mean. I don't know, we'll have to really check on this filter, see how dirty the top of this gets. I really wish they would have engineered this so that I wasn't having to be under the fender to get this last bolt in. It's just as much of a pain as the factory one. And of course I can't get it to thread in at all. Let's see. Nope. That was ridiculous. I'm putting the screw in sideways because I just can't even get here. Okay, well, I'll get this on there and get it buttoned up. We have a bolt to go in here. Got to line these up, and then a bolt will go in there, and there is a bracket that we have to install right here as well. This is the kind of thing you need to watch out for. So I loosened everything here to go into the intake manifold, and it's kind of just found its way back, but the clamps are not tight. So, like I said earlier, take your time and go back through everything you did and make sure you have everything back connected, which I now believe I just about do. Have this one. And I have been going back through and turning all the clamps so I can get to these easier. And also you can see this gap opened up quite a bit. So again, using supplied hardware, we should be able to bolt everything back down using a flat and a lock washer. Going to, well, hopefully put this in. It does not want to go in there. There's a little piece of plastic covering the little nutsert. There we go. Nope. So these are like a brass, I'm assuming, nutsert going into plastic. Make sure when you're installing stuff like that, you don't over tighten that also, because if that nutsert spins, you're basically screwed. You might be able to like JB weld it back together, but it's not going to be a good time. So I think we just have this bracket. And then we have to put the top of the airbox on, but I gotta find the bracket. I don't know where I put it. Okay. So, looks like that's what we need. And it looks like I put the wrong bolt in here. This needs to be a hex. These are for the lid. Okay, so we have it all buttoned up and it's working. And man, does this thing make a lot more noise. Hopefully you can hear that. You can hear it really spooling up. I'm assuming most of that comes from that big box that was on the inlet to the turbo, but we also didn't remove that from the driver's side. So, see if we can hear it here. Definitely has an intake growl to it. I don't know how well this microphone is going to pick that up. Probably not very good at all. But the Roush, there was no change. I didn't notice any difference in sound. See, like, there's the turbo whistle. And it just, the intake has a growl to it. It definitely, I think it sounds pretty good. And like I said, the Roush did not get any of that. So overall, right now, I would say I'm pretty impressed by this. Okay, so I wanted to do just kind of a little bit of a review. I've got about 1,000 miles or so on the K&N intake, and it is worth every penny. It definitely, I don't know how well you're probably not going to pick up much besides road noise in this little clip. You can hear the turbos whistle. It is a very noticeable pickup in power and torque, especially while you're moving. When I put my foot into it, it really kicks down a gear and it goes. I know there was a long point in time where you added an intake to a vehicle and it didn't seem to really make a difference. But now that we are in the time where everything comes turboed, I mean, your economy cars come turboed, your big trucks come turboed, diesel semis come turboed. I don't know if you heard that or not. But this intake seems very well designed. It's got, I've never had a problem with the way K&N filters work. K&N is actually who designs the Roush filter as well. So if it's good enough for Roush, I don't know why it wouldn't be good enough for you. So overall, I'm very, very pleased with this intake. It seems to be working great. I haven't noticed much difference in gas mileage. It might be a little bit better, but then again, I really like hearing all the noises, so I'm having kind of a hard time keeping my foot out of it. We're also, everywhere's now on winter blend fuel, so that is a noticeable dip in mileage for anything as well. But overall, I would highly recommend you buy this. The horsepower numbers come on the sheet when you purchase it, and they are far higher than what Mishimoto is advertising. So if you're looking for an upgrade, if you're looking for some more power, you want a little bit of added noise to your Bronco, I would go ahead, pick yourself up a K&N intake, and yeah, let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching, everybody.